This week is pasta week, and I am not a huge fan of pasta. So these are going to be good, delicious meals even a not huge fan of pasta person would enjoy. The first one is actually not Italian inspired. It is more of an Asian inspired meal, and it's just your basic chow mein. Now, the reason I chose to make this was because I had frozen some spaghetti noodles. Sometimes when we cook spaghetti or other noodles, we cook too many. And so I had frozen them for another occasion. And I thought, what a perfect opportunity to use up some vegetables I had in the fridge and to use up these noodles. So I started by making the sauce, and see the description below for all the measurements of the different ingredients. So I made the sauce and I set that aside. Now I had chopped the cabbage earlier, and I also had these pre-cut carrots, but you can use a bag of coleslaw mix as well. Then I sauteed those. I added some garlic and some green onions and sauteed those all well for a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Now I had my grilled chicken that I like to keep on hand in the freezer that I could just throw into this, and that's one reason it made it a very easy meal. I had some chicken broth I needed to use up that I had used for another recipe, so I add that, and I added my sauce that I had made earlier, and there are my defrosted frozen spaghetti noodles. And I just added those all together, stirred it, cooked it for a few more minutes, and I was good to go to serve dinner. I also happen to have some little chow mein noodles in the fridge that I like to keep on hand for various occasions. I think maybe they were left over from when I did Hawaiian haystack. So I added those to the top, and voila, a simple, quick, easy, delicious meal. Now, one pasta I do like is baked pasta, and lasagna falls under that category. Now, I had just cooked some sausage in this pan, and that's why it had the kind of the leftovers from the sausage, but I thought it would be really a good seasoning for the chicken. So I got ground chicken to put into this lasagna because my family doesn't like anything in their lasagna, but they were willing to have a little bit of ground chicken in it. So I started layering my noodles, and I get the oven ready ones so that I don't have to have another step of boiling noodles. And I put them in. I had to break it a little bit to get it to fit, but I put them in my pan. And I always like to put sauce on the bottom so it has something to kind of boil in, cook in, the sauce it cooks in. And then I got a big bag of Italian style cheese, and I layered the cheese and a little bit of the ground chicken, and then just kept layering. I think there was enough for 3 layers. And I do occasionally like a baked pasta. So lasagna is not too bad, but I know it's easy to get overwhelmed with the idea of all the steps that it requires for lasagna. That's why I think buying pre-shredded cheese and just keeping it really simple using the no bake or no boil noodles makes it really easy. So you cover it for the first 45 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes you uncover it so it can get kind of browned on top. And this actually turned out pretty good. I don't typically like just plain lasagna with nothing in it, so the chicken gave a little bit of substance to the noodles. And it turned out really good. My family all really liked it. I have been looking everywhere for a creamy mac and cheese recipe that didn't call for Velveeta, and I found one on dinnerthendessert.com, and it was so good, and it really was creamy. It didn't get all clumped up like sometimes it does. So I started by making kind of the creamy sauce, which I adjusted the recipe a little bit from the website. I used cream cheese instead of cottage cheese. And then I added some spices, some dried mustard, half and half, cayenne, nutmeg, salt and pepper, white pepper, and then 4 tablespoons of melted butter. And I blended that up and it got pretty thick. And I think it's because I used whole cream and not half and half, but it may just get thick because of the cream cheese as well. So then you take your noodles, you drain them, and you put chunks of butter in it, and you mix it around really well so the butter coats it, and then you add your milk, a cup of whole milk, and then you're gonna add freshly shredded cheese. That's keeps it from getting grainy. So I shredded up this sharp cheddar, but you could also use mild or medium cheddar. And then you melt that in, and then you add that cream cheese mixture. Now once that's all incorporated, so when you drain your noodles, you want to drain them but not rinse them. So you incorporate all of that, and then I decided to add some more salt and a little bit of smoked paprika as well for color, a little bit of flavor. Now you're done. You could just eat it like that. And some of my family did, but I also love baked pasta. You guys know this. So I put breadcrumbs and more cheese on top, and I baked some of it as well. And that turned out really good. I really liked that, and it stayed really creamy. For this last pasta, it is a one-pot pasta, which is amazing because that's less dishes. I happen to have a pound of ground beef that I needed to use up, but this is really good with sausage. If you have sausage, it adds a ton more flavor. So I cooked up the ground beef, I got the oil, the extra grease out, and I used the last of my frozen onions, which have been super handy. I also had these mushrooms that I forgot to use for pizza we had done. So I threw those in there with some diced garlic and sauteed that up all really, really well. Then I added some spices, some Italian seasoning, some red pepper, and salt and pepper. Now I also had this meat left over from the pizza that we had done, and I just thought I need to use it up. So I just shredded it up and threw it in there. Then you're gonna pour in 3.5 cups of water and a jar of marinara or spaghetti sauce. Then you're gonna add a pound of pasta, and I used penne for mine, directly into the pot. Then you're gonna cover and let it cook for about 14 to 16 minutes. And it'll soak up most of the liquid at that point. Now you add your softened cream cheese, and that will make it creamy, about 2 ounces of that. And once that's all done, remove it from the heat. And then I had this this fresh mozzarella that I put on top, and some Parmesan that I wanted to use up that we had used for the pizza. So I put that on top, and then I put the lid on and let that melt. And then you could eat it just like that. But of course, you know me, I like to have browned cheese, or I don't know, I just like the baked cheese pasta vibe. So I went ahead and broiled it for a little bit too. But then I served it up, and it was really easy and tasty. So this is a great meal to do if you don't want a ton of dishes. And like I said, you don't have to broil it like I did. You can just eat it just like that. You can use shredded mozzarella on the top as well. All right, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope to see you here next week. Bye.